Hey, what's good? You know how people are always taking the Bible out of context, or they're saying, "Oh, Jesus said," and they just Jesus never really did. Well, this video from Christian Animated is entitled Four Things Jesus Never Said, but Christians Still Believe. Let's get into this. I'm excited. Before we do, please remember to go to coconutjustice.com to get you some clothes that I think would look good on you. Let's go. Four things Jesus never said. We're going to find out because, if this country is going to turn into a white Christo fascist, whatever, we got to get our facts straight. Let's go. Christian Animated.
There are things we hear so often in Christian circles, they start to sound true. But just because it sounds spiritual doesn't mean Jesus said it. If we want to follow Jesus faithfully, we need to let go of the lies and hold on to his real words. Here are four things Jesus never said, but many Christians still believe. 1. Follow me and life will be easy.
Yeah.
Jesus never promised a comfortable life. He never said, follow me and everything will go smoothly. What he actually said was this: if anyone wants to follow me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. Matthew.
See, these are the things that rich and powerful don't want to. Like, they'll leverage Christianity, but they won't pick up a cross. They like nice, easy life. It's easier to run a mega church and collect all the offerings and all the everything and get an even bigger church and go on trips and get your own jet and do all those things. That's way easier to do than to actually go back, take care of your neighbor, take care of the old people, take care of the kids, feed the hungry, house the poor, house the homeless. Take your shirt off your back. You know what I mean? All those things that Jesus actually said. So yeah, folks, they'll go and they'll talk about how persecuted they are and all this stuff, but they don't do this. They don't watch out for their neighbor. They don't pay attention to what the Bible says.
16:24. The cross was not a symbol of ease. It was a symbol of death. Jesus promised suffering, not success. He said, in this world you will have trouble. John 16:33. So if life gets hard, it doesn't mean God has left you. It might mean you're exactly where he called you to be. Because following Jesus isn't about ease, it's about obedience. 2. Just be a good person. We hear this a lot. I'm a good person. I try to do the right thing. But Jesus didn't say that's enough. In fact, he told Nicodemus, who was a religious leader and a good man, you must be born again. John 3:3. He didn't say, improve yourself. He said, you need a new life. No one is saved by being nice. We are saved by grace through faith in him. Isaiah 64:6 says our righteousness is like filthy rags. Even our best efforts can't fix the sin in our hearts. So stop trying to be good enough. Start trusting the only one who truly is. 3. If you have enough faith.
I wanted to break that down, but I don't fully understand. I think what he's saying is just being a good person isn't enough. You got to dedicate your life to being like Jesus and such and such and such, all that stuff. This is my pushback on that. What if we think that the current religious leaders or the current religious offerings don't give us what we're looking for? You know what I mean? So basically, going to a church where kids are being harassed, let's just say it like that. Going to a church that maybe doesn't let colored people in. maybe things like that. You know what I mean? So I've done a little bit of research trying to be a good person, and my poster child or my go-to um, for that is, stories of Jesus and such. That's why this video is important. But um, that's my pushback. My pushback is, what if you're trying to be a good person, but then you go to a church and, people are gossiping, or I've been to this kind of church where it's just like a fashion show and people are judging you according to what you're wearing. That to me kind of takes away from being able to worship properly, you know? And then again, just with some of the treatment of certain groups, whether it be women, whether it be black and brown people, whether it be, whatever the case may be, poor. I have a story about being poor and going to church, and then da-da-da. I have a story, but it's not for this video. But anyway, let's get back into this. But basically, number 2 was being good. Being a good person isn't enough. Okay. Sometimes going to church all the time doesn't make you a good person either. Anyway, if you have enough faith, nothing bad will happen. That is not true. If you look at the Bible, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that happen in the Bible that contradict this. Everything from the flood to bears coming out of the wilderness to eat kids to, there's just a lot happening. There's a lot of bad things that happen. Sodom and Gomorrah, the flood, like Jesus' life alone, that ass whipping he took.
Nothing bad will happen. This one sounds spiritual, but it's false.
Completely false.
Jesus never said faith would keep us from trouble. He said the rain falls on both the righteous and the wicked. Matthew 5:45.
100%. Bad things are going to happen to anybody because anybody and everybody is alive. If you can hear my voice, chances are you are alive. So you can't control what happens on the daily. You can't control whether or not that person has been drinking and they crash into you. You can't control that your boss is in a bad mood and fires you. There's a lot of things you can't control. But faith actually gives you like a safety net. And if you go to, say, your church, your community, wherever you are worshiping, whatever, when bad things happen to you, it's your faith and the community of that shared faith that helps pull you through. Sure, there's people that, well, I did it by myself. Yeah, good for you. But there's a better way of doing it. The Christian way of doing it is getting out there and actually supporting the people that are going through bad times. Unfortunately, people can go through bad times and it gets lonely. It gets lonely. Whether or not you're Christian, whether or not you believe, whether or not whatever. When you are struggling, nobody wants to be around you. When you have a bunch of money, it's crazy how everybody wants to be your friend. When you don't, they don't. And it's messed up. Anyway, let's go.
He said storms would come. Faith doesn't stop the storm. Faith anchors you in the middle of it. Think of the disciples. They followed Jesus onto the boat, and still the storm came. But because Jesus was with them, they weren't destroyed. God never promised a storm-free life. He promised he'd be with us in the storm. 4.
Storm-free life would be
I'll love
boring.
you more when you get it right. Maybe you felt this one before, that God is disappointed in you, that he's waiting for you to clean yourself up. But Jesus never said, I'll love you when you're finally worthy.
No.
He said, I came to seek and save the lost.
Yeah.
Luke 9.
Jesus went out and looked for people to help. Jesus went out and looked for people to help. And then when people are like, hey, there's a blind guy over here. He's got leprosy and all kinds of stuff. Jesus went over there. He helped the blind guy. He helped the dude with leprosy. He hung out with normal folks. He went out into the community to help the community, to improve the community. He never asked for copay. He never asked for membership dues. He didn't. My guy almost never went to church. And when he did, he got kicked out or he picked a fight or something. You know what I mean? Being in church is good, especially for people that need that structure in their life. That's good. But the revolution will not be televised. We're not going to be able to help the people in the streets, the homeless people, the poor people, the hungry people, the people with whatever. We're not going to be able to help them from inside the church. The church might be able to help, but us, the members of that church, we have to be out in the community making things happen like Jesus did. He didn't sit in a church, wait for people to fill out the forms. He went out and he helped.
10. Romans 5:8 tells us, while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Not when we repented, not when we believed, while we were still lost. God doesn't love some future version of you. He loves you right now, even in the middle of your mess. That doesn't mean he'll leave you there, but it means his love isn't something you earn, it's something you receive. These lies might sound spiritual, but they don't come from Jesus. He didn't promise ease. He didn't reward performance. He called us to deny ourselves, trust him in the storm, and receive his love with open hands. So let's stop quoting what Jesus never said and start living by what he actually did. Because the truth doesn't just sound good. The truth sets us free.
Yeah, I'm all in. I love Jesus. Church is not my favorite. Church is not my favorite. Religion, organized religion is not my favorite. What's that t-shirt say? With so many religions, there's a lot of you guys going to hell. Yeah, I don't, it's funny how people get suckered into different religious beliefs and different religious whatever they're going through. And then they just come up with stuff. If only to change your mind, if only to make you think about whatever it is that they want you to think their way, and they're trying to bring you into their little group. It's hard for me to bad mouth anything religious, because I know people need religion. There's some people that need religion. But again, if we're going to go off of Jesus's life, he never really went to church. He was anti-establishment. He would be anti everything that's happening today. He went out into the streets, and he's the one that initiated the healing and the preaching and the right? He's the one. He's active. And this is trying to tell you, judge people by what they do, not what they say. So to me, it doesn't even really matter what Jesus said. I go off of what he did. He educated people. He took care of people. And he kept telling us we have to give our shirts off our back to help our neighbors that don't have. And the people that are in charge today, here, especially here in the United States, do you think they co-sign to this stuff? Do you think they co-sign to lay it all down and pick up a cross? Lay down all your riches? Or is it easier for a camel to walk through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to make it to heaven? Rich people will try to convince you that yours is coming in the afterlife. But when it comes to them giving up their mega churches, giving up their yachts, giving up their jets, doing all that stuff, do they do that? Judge people by what they do, not what they say. There's a lot of folks out here that will convince you of some stuff, but they won't do any of it. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share it with each and every one of your friends. And if you want to come hang out with me and watch videos while I work on creative projects, hit that subscribe button and then change that little bell icon. You know, the little alert one. Change that so it says all. That way, every time I come out with something new, you'll be alerted. Don't forget to go to coconutjustice.com to get you some dope gear. And with that, I'm out.
Coconut Justice.